Peace talks so far have shown that, in my opinion, Ukrainian demands have not been super open. Like, they haven't really mentioned what their demands are to the world, at least. But Russians have, according to the Financial Times. 15-point draft deal would involve Kyiv renouncing NATO ambitions in return for security guarantees. Ukraine and Russia have made significant progress on a tentative 15-point peace plan, and they've shown what the Russian side of that 15-point peace plan are. And I have described to you that this is what they would want time and time again, so it won't be shocking or confusing to you if you've been in here for a long enough time, that these were the ultimate goals of Russia in Ukraine. And yes, they do align with what Mersheimer's analysis was of Russia. The nature of the Western guarantees for Ukrainian security and their acceptability to Moscow could yet prove to be a big obstacle to any deal. But the proposed deal with Russian and Ukrainian negotiators, discussed in full for the first time on Monday, would involve Kyiv renouncing its ambitions to join NATO and promising not to host foreign military bases or weaponry in exchange for protection from allies such as US, UK, and Turkey, the people said. The nature of Western guarantees for Ukrainian security and their acceptability to Moscow could yet prove to be a big obstacle to any deal, as could the status of Ukrainian territory seized by Russia and its proxies in 2014. A 1994 agreement underpinning Ukrainian security failed to prevent Russian aggression against its neighbor. Although Moscow and Kyiv both said that they had made progress on the terms for a deal, Ukrainian officials remain skeptical. Russian President Vladimir Putin is fully committed to peace and worry that Moscow could be buying time to regroup its forces and resume its offensive. Okay? That is the American State Department line, straight up. Putin showed no sign of compromise on Wednesday, vowing Moscow would achieve all of its war aims in Ukraine. We will never allow Ukraine to become a stronghold of aggressive actions against our country, he said. Mikhailo Podolyak, a senior advisor to the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, told the Financial Times that the deal would involve the troops of the Russian Federation in any case leaving the territory of Ukraine. Of course it would. That's going to happen. That has to happen. That's actually to the benefit of Russia, because they would never be able to, as I've said, continue occupying Ukraine when there are 44 million Ukrainians, or 40 million now. If you, let's say, in the end of this conflict, 4 million get displaced, there's still 40 million fucking Ukrainians and like hundreds of millions of guns and lead and anti-tank weapons. They would have to literally launch a 20-year, 30-year counterinsurgency battle in a country that does not allow them to occupy it. And if I can understand it here, then obviously Vladimir Putin can comprehend it as well. Captured since the invasion began in... The troops in the Russian Federation need to back away, namely southern regions along the Azov and Black Seas, as well as territory to the east and north of Kyiv. For the record, if Ukraine was defeating Russia militarily, these territories would not have been captured by Russia. You got duped time and time again in the news. People kept constantly telling you, oh, dude, Ukraine is destroying Russia. Ukraine is destroying Russian forces. Look at all these bombed out Russian tanks. And you thought there was a false sense of security, that like Russia was using all of their fucking forces. Russian demands are as follows. Russia ceases fire and withdraws. Ukrainian neutrality without NATO. Kyiv keeps its army but can't host foreign bases. Russian gets legal status in Ukraine. There it is. This is definitely progress, but it's a very difficult progress. It's very hard to see how they could ever agree on Crimea and Donbass. Ukraine can't give up the territory, and Kyiv worries Russia could just be playing for time to replenish its army and start a new offensive. But I worry that Zelensky's chief of staff or others in Zelensky's circle are not going to be comfortable with any of these demands.
Your take, if you can, on the news we heard just a short time ago from President Zelensky, who said the Russians are getting more realistic in their negotiating positions.
That's false, by the way, for the record. These were the demands from day one. The denazification and the demilitarization of Ukraine is bullshit, okay? That was always fucking bullshit. The real demands are these ones that they've mentioned here. It's true. Nah, you're bullshit. No, you just don't want to it's just pure liberalism, okay? To fucking turn around and be like, no, they have the workings of someone who, they want the entirety of Ukraine. They want the entirety of Ukraine. They want the entirety of Ukraine. They want the entirety of Ukraine is what liberals kept saying. But the one nation between Ukraine and Russia and the denazification and shit are justifications for Russians, okay? That's not their actual fucking goal. Their actual goal is Crimea being Russian territory, recognized as Russian territory, most likely to not interrupt the water going into Crimea from Ukrainian canals that were built during the USSR, okay? So that's, again, completely reasonable. The recognition of Donbass as autonomous while still maintaining Donbass as inside the Ukrainian borders, because that gives them a better opportunity to fucking, have a say in what happens in Ukraine's foreign policy, okay, rather than full-blown severance from Ukraine. So does Putin not genuinely believe what he says to the public? Bro, what do you think country leaders do? Of course he doesn't believe anything he says to the public. What politician believes anything they say? What do you think? Kristen Sinema in America is like actually a fucking centrist and like genuinely cares about civility, and that's why she's making sure that like poor people fucking die? What do you mean? There's something very weird about the way we when we look at like foreign nations, especially foreign adversaries, we completely fucking forget in a weird way that like they operate very similarly to our leaders. They're tricksters, they're liars, of course they are. 6 demands. Here it is. No NATO membership in neutral position, which is a given, understandable, gonna happen regardless. Russian should be the second official language of Ukraine with laws prohibiting it being abolished. Also, it is, so makes sense. Recognize Crimea as a Russian territory. Of course, that was going to come. And then recognize the independence of Donetsk and Luhansk. Demilitarization of Ukraine and abandonment of weapons that could be a threat to the Kremlin. I think they're specifically talking about like Western weapons. But again, remember, this is Putin's demands and this is a negotiation. Do you mind explaining why Putin wants to make Russian the second official language? Because Russian already is the second official language in Ukraine. And then banning of ultra-nationalist parties and organizations in Ukraine. Low key, don't have a problem with this. Straight up. First of all, people keep saying recognize Crimea as Russian territory. That's unacceptable. That's like a red line for or whatever. What are they going to do? Do you think the Ukrainian forces that can't even fucking push back the Russian forces currently in its southern region are going to fucking move into Crimea and take it over? Like what? How do you foresee this happening? Might is right when it comes to international relations. Let's be fucking real for a goddamn moment. So do you think that like the Ukrainian forces somehow are going to this time around be able to push back the Russians without any sort of additional help and then also move directly into Crimea? You're crazy. And Crimea has already been a part of Russia. So much so that the Ukrainian government cut off its water. So Putin's demands are like me telling my neighbor how he should build his house. Yeah, except it's like if you have a way larger gun than your neighbor and you're liable to use it in a lawless land. Okay, that's what it sounds like. And actually, you're now holding your neighbor's like children hostage and telling him we're gonna stop if you build the house the way I want you to build it. So like you're right, and it's not correct. And at this point, you have to literally try to find a better solution than an extended occupation, which is only going to further kill Ukrainians, okay? Russians are going to suffer from in this situation as well. But all this is doing, the extension of this and seeing all of these as like completely unreasonable demands and a non-starter is exclusively going to further extend the occupation, and it's going to cause more Ukrainians to fucking die in the hands of the Russian forces who should not be there to begin with, okay? Crimea's illegal annexation is such a fucking stupid conversation. I hate relitigating it over and over again, okay? Just please read anything about Crimea. Read any article from American outlets about Crimea that predate like this last iteration of the war, okay? And you will get a better recognition for what even the Western world thought about Crimea and its annexation. Yes, it was illegal, but international law means nothing, okay? It does not matter. It literally does not fucking matter. There's no such thing as international law. When you are a nation with a nuclear arsenal, there is no international law. Please stop talking about international law. Let alone the morality of the situation itself is also something that you guys keep fucking complaining about. Ukraine passed. Oh, this is the reason why they want legalization for Russian, like legal recognition for the language of Russian. Ukraine passes language law irritating president-elect in Russia. Hassan being the typical Russian apologist leftist is cringe. Oh, I want to put you inside of a fucking ICBM, dude. I swear to God, and like launch you when I hear shit like this. None of what I'm saying is me being an apologist for Russia. What Russia is doing is morally abhorrent, completely unacceptable, completely fucking violent. Okay? I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate having to qualify myself over and over again. Anyway, as far as Crimea being like Russian territory, it's already Russian territory. Like, the rest of the world can fucking say that's not true, that's not happening. But in the eyes of Crimeans that live there, they seemingly are happy about that. And that's all I operate on. Now, if they weren't, that would be an entirely separate story. And, like I said, that's the reason why I constantly and consistently consistently tell you, just read any articles about Crimea or look at any polling done in Crimea by Western polls, and you will get a better understanding of what that fucking means. The only one that is sussy here is the demilitarization. Obviously, all of these could be used against Ukraine, and they are. You probably don't fully understand. Russians killed 100 plus children. After that, everyone here, including me, would rather die than accept the Russian language as official. Wait, what?
6 months,
It's not.
maybe.
That doesn't
You've
mean.
opened
Wait,
my
what are
eyes
you
to a lot of
saying?
new
That
sex
doesn't mean.
positions.
This doesn't mean you have to speak Russian, dude. It means that, like, in areas where there are Russian speakers, they should be able to have, like, Russian language schools. It's not the
more of my
fucking
friends into
random
being
Russian
assheads.
speakers that live inside of Ukrainian borders that are Ukrainian, that are your fucking fellow citizens that are responsible for these actions of Vladimir Putin. Yeah, just go fucking kill random Russian civilians then. You know what I mean? It's such a strange fucking take. I know they have schools already. I know. Most of your takes are good, and I don't chat much, but you're very apologist and lean towards giving Russia their wishes too much. Don't mean to repeat. Yeah, because I see the fucking writing on the wall. That's the main difference between me and all these other fucking people that keep telling Ukraine, like, you're doing a great job, sweaty. It's cool. Keep dying. Because the ultimate purpose and ultimate goal, as stated by not just, random people on Twitter, but actually Hillary fucking Clinton herself and other foreign policy people, is that Ukraine is turning into Russia's Afghanistan. And I care more about the Afghan people, i.e. the Ukrainians in this situation. I want to avoid further escalation and further death and destruction that is inevitable. Americans that keep egging Ukrainians on and making it seem like they have more leverage than they actually do are literally causing a death sentence for Ukrainians, okay? That's what's frustrating. Here is what Vladimir Putin from 2 hours ago had to say. He said, yes, of course. Oh, this is what I was going to talk about. This is his attempt at reaching out to the, you know how Zelensky's like reaching out to the liberals? This is Vladimir Putin reaching out to the other side, okay? Yes, of course, the West will bet on the so-called fifth column, on national traders, on those who earn money there, here with us, but live there. And they live not even in the geographical sense of the world, but according to their thoughts, according to their slavish consciousness. I do not at all judge those who have a villa in Miami or on the French Riviera, who can't do without foie gras, oysters, or the so-called gender freedoms. But the issue here is not in that, but in the fact that many of these people, by their very nature, are mentally located exactly there and not here. Not with our people, not with Russia. This is going to get so much worse for the Russian citizens living in Russia. This right here is a call to the rest of the Russian public that, hey, you fucking speak out of turn, we will say you're a Western agent, okay? You talk about like, you act like a Western degenerate. We will just say you're a Western spy, you're a Western agent, and we will fucking throw you in jail. This is, in their opinion, repeats a sign of belonging to a higher caste, to a higher race. Such people are ready to sell their own mother if only they were allowed to sit in the hallway of this very highest castle. They want to be like her, meaning caste, imitating her in every possible way. If they forget or do not understand at all, if they are needed by this so-called higher caste, then needed only as expendable material in order to use them to inflict maximum damage on our people. Inhales heavily. The collective West is trying to split our society, speculating on the combat losses, on the socioeconomic consequences of the sanctions, provoking a civil confrontation in Russia and using its fifth column to achieve its goal. Yeah, see? Every single person that has criticized Russian actions thus far, Russian combat thus far, every single person that is advocating against the war in Ukraine, saying that, like, this is not a good idea, is actually just an agent of chaos. They have infiltrated us from the outside. That's what they're saying. That's what he's saying. Yes, a fifth column is any group of people who undermine a larger group from within, usually in favor of an enemy group or nation. Yeah, I know. Like, they used to say Muslims are fifth column. Like, Muslim immigrants are fifth column for terrorists. And in this case, he says people that are coming and getting money from the West are, or anyone and everyone that even repeats.
Но любой народ, а тем более российский народ, всегда сможет
But any people, and even more so the Russian people, will be able to distinguish true patriots from scum and traitors, and simply spit them out like a what midge? And simply spit them out like a midge that accidentally flew into their mouths. Like what is that? Like a fly? Spits out on the pavement. I'm convinced that such a natural and necessary self-purification of society will only strengthen our country, our solidarity, cohesion, readiness to respond to any challenges. Midge is kind of like a gnat. Okay, got it. Again, this is going to get so much worse for the fucking Russians that live in Russia. It's going to get so much worse. He is directly signaling that, you know, he's just gonna fucking jail you if you say anything about the war. No, he's not going to purify them by killing them. He's just going to fucking jail them. But it's still unacceptable. It's like Turkey, dude. It's Turkey. Straight up. He's pulling a fucking turkey. In a joint session in Congress, the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky this morning made some requests from the American government.
Friends, Americans, in your great history, you have pages that would allow you to understand Ukrainians, understand us now, when you need it right now, when we need you right now. Remember Pearl Harbor, terrible morning of December 7, 1941, when your sky was black from the planes attacking you. Just remember it. Remember September the 11th.
How the fuck would they remember who remembers Pearl Harbor, bro? What? The only person that can remember Pearl Harbor is like Dianne Feinstein, probably.
This is a terror that Europe has not seen for 80 years, and we are asking for a reply, for an answer to this terror from the whole world. Is this a lot to ask for, to create a no-fly zone over Ukraine to save people? Is this too much to ask? Humanitarian no-fly zone, something that that Russia would not be able to terrorize our free cities. If this is too much to ask, we offer.
Yes, like, I mean, it is. And America will not do it. Does he not realize it would cause World War III? Guys, why would he give a fuck about World War III? He's already in the World War. I get why he's saying it. I don't fault Zelensky for asking for a no-fly zone. I don't fault Ukrainians for asking for a no-fly zone. They're in war. They're being fucking dunked on by Russian forces. He's gonna say whatever the fuck he can. No, I didn't miss the MLK quote. Dude, he is literally lubing up every American. That's what he's doing here, okay? He's like, please give us a no-fly zone. Except, you know, the American government, which normally loves no-fly zones, the reason why most Americans don't even understand what a fucking no-fly zone entails and has been advocating for it is quite literally because of our love for no-fly zones and how much we have misrepresented what it actually is, because we could do it to other countries like Libya. That very same American government is not going to give a no-fly zone to Ukraine because they're Holocaust.
I need to protect our sky. I need your decision, your help, which means exactly the same you feel when you hear the words, I have a dream. In addition, such association, such union could provide assistance to those who are experiencing natural disasters, man-made disasters, who fell victims to humanitarian crisis or epidemics. Remember how difficult it was for the world to do the simplest thing, just to give vaccines against COVID to save lives, to prevent new strains. The world spent months, years.
You know, liberals are like, vaccines? Pog. He's hitting all the high notes, baby.
Doing things like that much faster to make sure there are no human losses, no victims.
I know the video's coming up. It's coming at like 11:30.
If such alliance would exist today, that is U-24, we would be able to save thousands of lives in our country. In many countries of the world, those who need peace, those who suffer inhumane destruction. I ask you to watch one video of what the Russian troops did in our country, in our land. We have to stop it. We must preventively destroy every single aggressor who seeks to subjugate other nations. Please watch the video.
Fuck. The quality of the video is terrible. He's just like showing bombings and stuff, but apparently there's like dead babies and shit in it, you know? Are you endorsing censorship? No, my friend. I am a Twitch streamer. So Twitch has a different set of rules when it comes to, allowing the showing of graphic footage. Yeah, there's just straight dead babies in there. Holy fuck. Not gonna lie, it's funny watch it with overly sad music. I don't know if the music is needed. I mean, they're just trying to, yeah, oh, whoa, okay. They're just, trying to fucking create as much emotion in the hearts of Congress. And it ends with this, okay? Here's what it ends with. Close the sky over Ukraine. So yeah, close the sky over Ukraine is the final message. That's the reason why they dropped the video.
In the end, to sum it up, today it's not enough to be the leader of the nation. Today it takes to be the leader of the world. Being the leader of the world means to be the leader of peace. Peace in your country doesn't depend anymore only on you and your people. It depends on those next to you, on those who are strong. Strong doesn't mean weak. Strong is brave and ready to fight for the life of his citizens and citizens of the world, for human rights, for freedom, for the right to live decently and to die when your time comes, and not when it's wanted by someone else, by your neighbor. Today, the Ukrainian
We are not currently in the real scary part of this. The real scary part of this conversation is when the American media start talking about how maybe Russia won't actually launch the nukes after all. I mean, what assurances do we have that Russia will even launch those nukes? We should still do a no-fly zone. Because right now, we're still like, no-fly zone, no-fly zone, no-fly zone. It's good, it's great. A lot of people haven't realized like what that entails. Once they realize that that means automatic nuclear holocaust, then the media will change the narrative to the second move that they always do, which is they won't do it. And you haven't heard that yet. That's Act 2. That's going to be way worse.
people are defending not only Ukraine, we are fighting for the values of Europe and the world, sacrificing our lives in the name of the future. That's why today the American people are helping not just Ukraine, but Europe and the world to keep the planet alive, to keep justice in history. Now I'm almost 45 years old. Today my age stopped when the hearts of more than 100 children stopped beating. I see no sense in life if it cannot stop the death. And this is my main mission as the leader of my people, great Ukrainians. And as the leader of my nation, I'm addressing the President Biden. You are the leader of the nation, of your great nation. I wish you to be the leader of the world. Being the leader of the world means to be the leader of peace. Thank you. Slava Ukraini.
Glory to Ukraine.